Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, Larry, is my For the Love of Real Estate on the right side? Or is it correct?
Yes, it is. Isn't it funny when you look at your own screen and it's backwards?
Yeah.
And you got a couple of things in progress right now, don't you?
Yes, sir. I'm having a great month. I'm at 9 listings and then 2 active buyers right now.
You have 9 listings?
Yes, sir. 2 have already closed. 3 are in escrow right now.
You are a busy guy.
Thanks.
So are all of those listings coming out of like a network of friends or like an organization you belong to or your group of people?
A lot of it's Sphere. Well, first one was Best Friend. That was when I first got my license. And then second one was somebody posted in the neighborhood community group. And then third one was a referral from a neighborhood person. And then fourth one was I was putting a sign in and she's like, hey, come talk to me. I want to sell my house. And fifth and sixth were Sphere. He was one of my chauffeurs when I had my limo business. And then another Sphere across the street and then another neighborhood post type thing.
You're on a roll, man. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Are all those in Red Rock or?
Majority of them, 2 of them are on the south side, Valencia and across the street from Midvale Park, Mission and Valencia type thing.
Do you live out in Red Rock?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I've got a friend of mine out there. I'd have to get his address. I don't remember what it is. He just bought a truck, and he's got an antenna on the middle of the roof of it. I can't remember what corner he's on.
From radio?
He's an amateur radio guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a few of them out here. Is he a German guy? Fred?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
His name is Greg.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Pretty, he's a good sized boy. He used to have a red Nissan Sonata, or not Sonata, or whatever, the Nissan Maxima or something like that. And he just bought a black pickup truck.
Oh, nice. There's a couple. Well, radio guy from KRQ, Ryan, the new guy. He's not the new guy anymore, but that's what his name was. So I'm not sure if you remember who he was. Ryan Coda.
Yeah, that's. I'm 20 years out of the radio business.
Yep, I hear you. Me too. I think 99 was mine last year.
Good morning, Dan.
Good. I was just letting you guys talk. This is communication. This is a community thing right here. So
yeah, no, Jason was just running down his 9 listings that he has.
you guys should all be jealous, and then
Very.
ask Jason, what are you doing to get those listings? Jason, what are you doing to get those listings?
Stalking people on Facebook, responding to everybody, making calls, and talking to every single person that I know, that I see.
Weird. I believe we've talked about this before. These 2 words, lead generation. It may just absolutely work. I'm just saying, Jason's a prodigy here. Only Jason can take 9 listings in 2 months. I mean, right? Right? Or can you do it too? Yeah, I'm still proud of Jason. He's hell of an example of doing what you need to do. So Jason's at the market center every day making phone calls at the north office on River. You guys can hang out with him in the office that I've commandeered for us. You can learn, listen, partake. We have the leads in the system you can join into. So, but it all comes down to that factor of talking to everybody. If they're within a shouting distance of Jason, I guarantee he strikes up a conversation, one facet or another. So, that being said, let me hear about your weeks. It is Thursday. You couldn't tell by the teal shirt. It's Teal Thursday.
Is that a new one?
It's Cindy's request. She told me it's teal on Thursday, and Cindy's not even here. So,
Dang it, I thought it was fluorescent green. I missed it.
We'll vouch for you.
yeah, Brenda was there. She knew. But the thing is, what are you struggling with today? What can we help you with on your objection handling, or what scripts do you need to help give you the motivation or take away the roadblocks to get you further down the lane? This is an open forum. Anybody, anytime, anywhere.
I have my first buyer's consult. I have one buyer that's closing on the 11th, but that was kind of a gimme. Hey, you're in real estate, sell me a house. So this one was a referral, and I could definitely use some help on a buyer consult.
Yeah, we're actually going to run. I think your buyer consult's at 11 on Monday. We're doing a consultation class at 2:30 on Monday, unfortunately. That's a whole lot of scripting on a quick scripting call. But
Okay.
buyer consultations are pretty simple. You're going to ask a lot of what's important about that. You know, tell me about your dream home. Tell me about your dream neighborhood. What's it look like? Get them to get visual, very visual. Right? You can do a quick one, Jason, if you'd like.
Yeah.
All right.
Now on that, I have gotten everything that, like, she wants an island facing out, with the sink in it. Wants Sahuarita, not rancho, and at minimum 3 bedrooms. So I sent her the app, and I put her on the search, and then the homes that she's sending me are in rancho, have no pool and no island. And I was like, you're not using my app. Zillow isn't very accurate. What you want?
Here's the thing, Jason. Let's
Yeah.
do this mock real quick, and then we'll talk about it. Right?
Okay.
Jason, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. I would love to go over the buying process with you. And by the end of it, you and I are going to identify if you and I are a good fit together, so that we can identify if I'm going to be a good realtor for you, or if you're going to be a good client for me. If at any point you feel like I'm not a good fit for you to help you find your home, please stop me and let me know. And the same thing, at the same time, if I don't feel like I'm a good fit for you, I'll do the same. All right. Tell me about your dream home.
I want to be in Sahuarita. I want 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, pool with an island, and a sink in the island.
Okay. What's important about the sink in the island?
I'm tired of looking out the window.
Okay.
I want to look at the people.
When you're doing dishes, you'd like to be able to see the people?
Yeah.
Okay. If the house had an island, no sink in the island, and you'd be able to do your prep and look at people, is that okay?
Yeah, but I'd really like to have the sink in the island.
Okay. Well, the sink's important, but it's not a deal breaker.
No.
Perfect. Well, what's important about a 3-bedroom?
Because I have 3 kids.
Okay,
Or,
great.
I have 2, whatever. She wanted minimum 3 bedroom. I
So
don't remember how
bedroom
many kids.
for you and each of the kids.
Yeah.
Do you need a flex space at all?
What's that?
Okay. Like an extra room or a loft or a play area?
No, I just want to make sure it's at least the 3 bedroom.
Okay.
The
Fantastic.
extra flex room is not important.
Now, Sahuarita, you said Sahuarita, but not Rancho. What's important about that?
My kids go to Sahuarita. I don't want to be in Rancho because of all their fees and the HOAs.
Understandable. Now, with the HOA fees and such like that, would you ever utilize any of those amenities if you had them?
I think she already lives in Rancho.
Okay. These are just questions because you can help peel back options.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, probably.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Well, tell me about the neighborhood.
I just want, my kids are in school. They're already at Saudita. We moved in from Michigan, and I just want him to be able to keep his friends and stay in the same school.
Okay. And how long is he going to be in that school?
I think 2 more years.
Okay, fantastic. If we were to find a property that was just outside of the school district, if you're able to get them to school and still utilize it, would that be okay?
Yes. I don't want to live in Tucson though, because I work in Green Valley.
Okay. So commute time is important.
Yeah, most important is my son keeps his friends and stays in the same school district.
Break script. You can see how you're anchoring back to something that becomes the importance.
Yeah.
I peeled you off of the kitchen with the sink in the island almost immediately, didn't I?
Yeah.
And that's going to be one of the toughest things for you to find. Because the sink in the island wasn't a design factor until late 2000s, and all those houses out there were built before that.
Oh, okay.
That's why, unless it's been remodeled that way, very difficult.
Most important, it has to have a pool. That's the most important thing.
So most important thing actually is keeping her son close to his kid.
Yeah.
And the pool becomes an activity for the kid. So when you're doing a buyer consultation, and we didn't go very deep on this, I just wanted to highlight and get some things. I skip over the whole asking about pre-qualification, telling them the expectations, because I want to find out what the house looks like. And then, okay, once we know what the house looks like, great, let's talk about the process. We go into the process conversation, it moves down to, we have to get a lender so we know what we're looking for, and then this happens, and this happens, and this happens. We want to—
She was referred from a lender.
What's that?
She was referred from a lender, so she's already done that process.
Perfect. So we just now discuss what happens during the transaction, right? First, we're going to go out there and look at houses. This is what we're going to talk about today in the PC call, is setting expectations. So I'm not going to go into depth on it, but at 2:30, we're going to talk about setting expectations with buyers and sellers. So it's a benefit to you to be on that call. But we set the expectations. We set what's going to happen. We move forward. We talk about the process and the timeline and the steps that get there. If you're not familiar with the steps, then you need to go rewatch or listen to the contract to close class at Ignite. We've got 4 of them in the last year that are recorded that talks the entire process from contract to close. It's very helpful to know that. A buyer consultation needs to be stemmed around the question, what's important about blank? So you can unroot it.
Okay.
We're trying to find, because buyers are going to be hyper specific. I want a blue house north facing with an island with a sink in it and a pool that looks like a gorilla, and my diving board is shaped like a dolphin, and I want my neighbors' names to be James and Susan, and I want my backyard to be backed up against a zoo.
Okay.
And agents are like, perfect, let's go looking. And then they look at 15,000 houses and they get butthurt because the clients are like, you're not finding me what I want. Well, because we didn't take the professional approach and ask questions about what's important about the zoo, what's important about the dolphin diving board, what's important about a gorilla pool. The more you're in this business, the more ridiculous shit you'll hear. And it really is. And I've had clients that are like, I don't want a 2-story house, I don't want a pool, and I don't want to live in the city. And guess where they're living?
Yeah.
A 2-story house with a pool in the city. Because if you start asking questions that just open up doorways, like, okay, well, I don't want to live in an HOA. What is it about living in an HOA? It's the extra fees. Okay. Is the extra fee, is it the monthly fee or the yearly fee, or what is it? Well, I just heard HOAs are expensive. Okay, then tell me about your neighborhood. It's clean, it's safe, it's got a park, it's got all this stuff in there. And then you can pull back and say, okay, based on what you've told me, you've outlined a good community like an HOA because it has a park, it's clean, it's got rules and regulations to keep everyone in line. And the cost is minimal for what you get out of it. A lot of people don't even know what HOAs do. They just hear HOA equals bad. And oftentimes, they're not wrong. I don't want to default and say that, every customer is wrong, but sometimes people are a little misguided. So let's peel back the onion. Let's go multiple layers down and ask those questions. Jason, what's important about this? What's important about that? Tell me more. Tell me more. That's interesting. Would you mind explaining a little bit? Help me understand at a deeper level what you're looking for. Any guy, gal, or monkey in this business can look for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Salrita that's not part of Rancho Sarita, right? It's just a search. But if we can find out that the neighborhood is important because her kids ride scooters around and they want to make sure that the kids have a safe, clean environment to live in and play in and all that, we can peel back that quite a bit and we can get to the root emotion. We can serve up options that will benefit them in long term that they may have otherwise overlooked. I'm going to play on my own experience. We talked about the story of where I bought my house. Does anyone remember? Why did I buy the house where I bought the house?
Near your family.
Your family was there. Easier for your child.
Down the street from my sister, down the street from his mom. It had a pool. It's all right. It's a similar layout to my sister's house, so I knew I could remodel it. But most importantly, it's less than half a mile from both my sister and my son's mom. It's in a quiet neighborhood off a main street where my kid can run up and down the street, play in the street, ride a scooter around. There's kids in the neighborhood. The house itself was completely undesirable. Smoked in for 20 plus years. Giant animal heads and carcass skins on the walls. The guy was a hunter. The most god-awful, ugly decorations inside the entire house, right? A normal buyer would have walked in and said, nope, I'm out. It was right when COVID hit, right when the market spiked, so I overpaid on this house. And I know I did, because if I'd have bought it 2 months earlier, I'd have paid 15 grand less. But if I were looking at the logical aspect, I need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house and blah, 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 I would have not bought this home. But if I go to the super emotional side of things, the family connection, the ease, the mobility, the opportunity, the stuff that comes with ownership, not just the property, the physicality of it, your brain starts opening up gateways. A little bit of money, a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, that entire house has been rewiped, right? Brand new. No more carcasses, no more smoke smell. Everything's been retouched, and I've been making it my own. It's an investment in my future. I have yet to have someone come in and say, you know what, Dan, you overpaid on this house. You made a bad choice. Because the only person that matters to is me, the buyer. So when you have a buyer consultation, you want to find what matters, because price then no longer becomes an issue. Location no longer becomes an issue if location is an anchor point. If they want a giant house with a giant yard that can put a gate up and build a motorcycle track in the backyard, then location matters. If they're trying to be Stormy and train his kids to be, X Games athletes, he's got to build a giant gym in the backyard for them, then maybe the HOA does matter. But if they're looking for a safe, quiet, clean neighborhood that their kids can grow up in, good schools, good eats, shopping, and all this shit around there, HOAs don't really factor. It actually adds to it when we can explain the benefit of what that does. So, give you some ideas, Jason?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, do what you do naturally, brother, and just make a friend, make a connection, and just uncover that onion, peel it back. Ask questions, tell me more. What's important about that? Do you mind explaining a little bit deeper?
Okay.
Billy Neal, a good friend of mine and a mentor to Jason also, he used to say the goal of the buyer's consultation is to get them to cry. Because then you have touched their heart. You have gotten them so involved in the process that they know exactly what they're looking for, exactly what it does to the family, and it anchors to the emotional aspect of things. And he's right. I don't want to sit down and just have a surface level conversation. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, Rancho Sarita, $250. Okay, great. Here's 30 homes. Now let's spend 16 hours on a Sunday driving around and looking at 30 different homes. Are you going to remember them all? Yeah, no, Stephanie, no. Thumbs down, big thumbs down. But if you're able to break it out and say, okay, it's got to be a blue house. Perfect. It's got to have a gorilla shaped pool. You know what? I know the place. And then you call them up. You call them up, Jason. Hey, Big Dan Caldwell, I got some exciting news. One of my agents just put a house on the market in Saudi that's got a gorilla shaped pool. The buyer or the seller said that they're going to paint the house. I bet if we get in there now, we get them an offer, they'll paint it blue for you. Let's go check it out. Boom, right? When you know what they're looking for, not just another house on the market, you find the wow factors for them. So next objection, next opportunity. Who's got somethings?
Can we talk about what we were talking about right now?
Yeah, what do you got?
It's more of a question. In a buyer consultation, do you want to get into debt right then and there? And the reason why I asked that, okay, you're saying yes, and that's fine. So then I would ask this then, isn't right now, most of the time, and even not just right now, but most of the time, aren't the buyer's expectations a little higher than it should be especially when they're buying a resale? Because on a resale, there's going to be tons of things that they're not going to like. So it's more like at that buyer consultation, if I was Jason, and I don't know if they're buying a resale, I don't know if they're buying a brand new build, but they're coming in pre-approved, right? Hey, listen, I see you're pre-approved for a loan. I talked to your lender already. You're pre-approved for 400. Just to let you know, in the area that you want, you can buy a new build, right? So then in a new build, your expectations are a lot higher, right? But if we're looking at a resale, I would tell them, hey, look, in a resale, why don't you just give me your 3 must-haves and 3 heck no's in a house, because you're gonna find some stuff that you won't like, and it's about weighing them out, right?
But in that same scenario, Stormy, Jason brought up that not in a, it has to have an island with a sink in it facing out, pool, 3-bedroom, all these things. When you say, tell me a must have and a heck no, you have set a dead precedent that those 3 things must be prevalent in every home that they look at. Otherwise, they're not interested. If I can uncover behind why those are must haves or hell no's, then we anchor deeper. Because we set expectations to the
buyer
client.
Consultation.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. It's a buyer consultation. I'm trying to consult with the buyer to uncover their motivations.
And you're talking about expectations, so let's pull up their 3 must-haves. Why don't I would pull it up right then and there and say, these are your 3 must-haves. This is what's available. It's
okay.
one.
Well, on that same line, Stormy, why is it a must-have?
Well, okay, I'm the buyer. That's fine. Well, it's a must-have because it's just something I really want in the home. But after you showed me that there's only one home with what I want, I think I got to change my mind a little bit here, or go buy a brand new home.
That's the thing, is you can change that, and I will put my experience against yours on this, and the values. Your client base, my client base may be different, but the human embodiment is, if you can uncover the motivation, you can uncover the root why they're asking for the must-have in a house, why they want the sink in the island facing out. If anyone was listening on the call, I would wager a large bet that this lady likes to entertain. She doesn't like it having her back to people. So maybe a house that has a larger opening, even if the kitchen doesn't have an island, but it's a really good big gathering space that she can utilize for bringing in parties and guests. It's not just about what they tell you. In conversations, we are listening for the things that are unsaid. So I love that you say, give me your 3 must-haves and hell no's, because then we can peel back right away. But when you're doing a buyer consultation, this is the time you want to spend up front setting those expectations. Stormy, I know that you're looking for this pearl. You're looking for this perfect house. What happens when it doesn't exist? That's setting expectations, right? What happens if the perfect house out there is just a little bit above your price range? Are you willing to stretch? Set the expectations. What happens if the perfect house out there has 2 of the 3 must-haves, but it's got a couple other things that we have discussed that may be ideal, but they're not deal makers. Can you live without X, right? You're setting expectations, but without understanding who the person is that you're sitting across from, you're just having a transaction, not a relationship. If you're unable to reach down and find out the reason behind those things, then it's very difficult for you to come up with creative solutions like a new build, right? If they want no maintenance, no problems, no issues, and I don't want nothing wrong with the house, I want it to be energy efficient, all this shit, right? I'm not going to put them in a 1970s home. I'm going to say, hey, let's go meet Stormy at the new builds. Same price range. It's got everything you want: neighborhood, park, dog track, brand new home, energy efficient, everything you're looking for.
They have to be moved by August.
Plenty of time.
I have a quick question. Sorry.
Brenda.
Being new to this area, coming from other states where the school district lines are very stringent, is there a way to live in a neighborhood that's outside that district and still stay in that school?
I'm not going to say all. Many school districts have what they call open enrollment, where if you're outside of the contingency zones, those school boundaries, you're able to drive and commute, like drop your kids off at school because you won't have bus routes.
Okay, especially if you've already established the fact that that's your school. Probably
Right.
helps. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, like in
And
the Tucson market, yeah, Vail's a huge school district, massive school district, and people that will drive half an hour to drop their kids off at a Vail school.
What was that term you called it? You said to be out of that school district?
Open enrollment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it? Is that it? Open enrollment? So the other thing is HOAs, especially if they provide pools and stuff. I've had my own pool in Texas. It was extremely expensive to upkeep it. And if I want the privacy of having my kids and being able to have my own pool parties, that's one thing. But they're trading the expense of a pool and the upkeep and the chemicals and whatever for the HOA where it's built in. That could be something too to help them think about weighing out the actual ultimate expenses of getting out of an HOA, but taking on those expenses themselves.
That's good. That's community pools. Like I was asking Jason about the amenities in a community. I was hoping he would ask the question, what do you mean by amenities? And then we can talk about those things. But when you tell someone, tell me about your perfect neighborhood, what's it look like? You want them to paint the picture. And to credit anyone else that's had a conversation along those lines, being able to ask those questions, what's important about that? It seems to be an anchor of a lot of things we say because it helps unroot past the smoke screen. Tell me more. Help me understand better. Paint me the picture.
The reason
The
she
bulb
has
law,
to have a
logic makes-
pool,
Go ahead.
she did not want a community pool. She had to have a pool. She's from Michigan, and she feels that every home has to have a pool out here, and doesn't understand why they don't. And I said, "Do you understand that I grew up with one? There is, like you said, Brenda, there's a lot of additional expenses." She says, "I want a pool. The pool is a must." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I went there 3 times, and she kept saying, "I have to have a pool."
Yeah.
Then I sent her our listing that didn't have a pool, and her first response, "This doesn't have a pool." And then she sends me something from Zillow that doesn't have a pool. So I was like, we got to meet because we're going different directions.
And this is the work we put up front saves you in the background. Because especially right now with buyers agents out there running people around and showing them 15 or 20 houses and putting offers on 10 of them, right? You guys have burned out on that. It's exhausting. It's mentally draining for your clients, and it's just a damn waste of your time. But if you're able to have expectation conversations where we're finding out the expectation of the house, we're setting the expectation of the pace, knowing what the offers need to look like, what the market's going to do. We tell them about the street fight. Now, this is the other part of the conversation. When we get to it, we tell them about the inspections. We tell them about the repair requests. We tell them about multiple offers. We tell them about all of the nightmares that can happen. Because if we're able to communicate and educate and show them how to make the best of this experience, we become a professional, not just someone that's easy exchanged. You guys have heard stories where somebody's been showing people houses all the time, and all of a sudden they go off, find another agent, put an offer in on that weekend, and then they're under contract, right? And the first agent's got multiple houses on offer and multiple deals done, and they've spent hours. And then Joe Schmo, that just happened to be at an open house one day that they stopped by and said, I like this house, let's put an offer in. And they forget about the original agent. I can tell you that original agent did not have an emotional connection with them. Or they're just douchebag clients. And this is recorded, so somebody can point that out to your friends and say, go read this. It's 38 minutes into the call, you douchebag client. Sorry, but people are like that. People suck sometimes. Don't be afraid going deeper, period. You're not going to waste time. If your buyer consultation goes from 45 minutes to an hour and 15, that extra 30 minutes invested in going deeper and finding out and uncovering and pulling away more of the, like Stormy said, the 3 and 3s. Now you understand the story behind the decision. You help understand the person better. Like Jason's client, she comes from Michigan. Did you know Michigan has a very, very low rate of HOAs? Tucson is one of the most HOA like soaked areas, period. Knowing where people come from, you understand what they're looking for. Michigan, very family oriented. The communities in those neighborhoods are very tight. So they're like communities without having an HOA. So the neighbors keep up on the place. And if one of the neighbors is letting their house go, they go knock on the door and have a conversation. Or if it's an elderly couple and they can't do it, the neighborhood gets together and does it for them. These are all things you learn when you have conversations about what's important about that. You will find out these stories. You will hear about these things on the backside, and you'll have those enthralling conversations with your buyers and be able to uncover some pretty incredible stuff.
Could she add a little pool, Jason? Have you discussed? That might be, there's some of those pre-made that are still like in ground or even above ground. Anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, I know that one of them had a hot tub. So anything with water, I think, is what she's.
Yeah, I was going to about a hot tub too. Yeah.
Why do you want a hot tub in Tucson? It's called baths.
Well, you can keep it cool.
No.
She wants a body of water.
Body of water. But yeah, anyways, it's open to everyone today at 2:30. We're going to talk about expectations from buyers and sellers. Josh Berkeley talked about it in Sierra Vista when I was out there on Tuesday. So kind of was a great tie-in for this Tuesday's class. But we're going to talk about how we set better expectations so that you can create better engagement, have a better relationship with your clients, and create a better experience. Because ultimately our end goal is not to sell one house, it's to sell them all. To be the real estate agent of choice requires you to have repeat and referral business. You cannot, as Gary Keller's true words, you cannot build a big real estate business on just buying leads. You can't. You can have a good business, but you can't create a great one. Awesome. Any other questions before we get off of this, guys?
Oh, I had a quick tip for folks. Since our company's not doing our quarterly meetings and our CE, there are free classes. You guys see them probably from other companies, but TAR offers you a free coupon every month, I believe, or every few months. So you can get a free class there. Teresa Barnaby, our old trainer, if you check out her site, Course Creator, she also has free classes that are being sponsored by TAR, and she's really engaging teacher. So know that people still need to get those, and just wanted to mention it.
All right. Beautiful things. There's free resources. Learn these stuff. Teresa Barnaby stuff is fire. As the hip cool kids say, right, Kyle? Awesome, guys. Hey, thank you so much hanging out with us. I will be on the question answer call here shortly. I've got another call to jump on here in 2 minutes, but I love you. Happy Teal Thursday, Cindy. This is for you. So have a great day.